Greetings, young Padawans, and welcome to another episode of the Wild Mouse Podcast. I, of course, am your host, Taylor Bartle, and today is one of the most asked for rides that I have gotten since I've started doing this podcast. Everyone's like, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do this? And today, I'm finally doing it. It's one of the biggest, grandest, most epic rides at any Disney park, and it, of course, is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. And so, if I'm doing a Star Wars ride, of course, I have to bring back my resident Star Wars guy, my little brother, EJ. Welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, like I said, you're the Star Wars guy, so of course, had to bring you back for this one.
Of course. It was my favorite ride at Disneyland as well when we went.
I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite, and I'm not even a Star Wars fan. So, we'll get into it in more detail, but just the scale of it, the story of it, it's got to be one of the funnest rides to work.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe I touched on it briefly last time I was on here when I was talking about Savi's Workshop. I think I touched on it briefly, but we didn't really go into detail, so I'm excited to go into detail today.
Right, yeah. Oh, and before I forget, I said on a recent episode I was talking about Trader Sam's, and I said that I think you got the nachos poutine when we were there, right?
Yes, that is. I got the nachos poutine, and I had one of your wings as well.
Right. What ranking or what rating did you give the poutine?
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I need to go find my.
Oh, you have notes. Okay.
Yes, I have notes. So for context, when we were at Disneyland, I went ahead and rated every single food that I had there, and I have them all written down in my notepad.
Yeah, I knew that you rated them. I didn't realize you were writing them all down.
No, yeah, I've written all of them down. So the Kahlua-style pork nacho poutine, as it was called.
Yes.
I gave an 8.9 out of 10.
Okay, so pretty good.
Pretty dang good.
Okay. So if you listen to my Trader Sam's episode and you heard me talk about that, now you know. EJ gave it an 8.9, which is almost as good as you can get.
Yeah. So there were only a couple of perfect 10s on here.
Yeah, I remember the Dole Whip was one of them.
The Dole Whip was one of them. The other three were the giant turkey leg, the birria grilled cheese, and the Monte Cristo, which I gave an 11.
Of course, the Monte Cristo, yes. I recently did an episode on the Blue Bayou, which is like the sit-down restaurant, and I didn't realize they have the Monte Cristo there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize they had it there either. I only knew that they had it at Cafe Orleans, which is why I had us make our reservation there.
Yeah, and I think Cafe Orleans might be easier to get into than Blue Bayou, so...
Yeah. Although still, that's still a 3-month wait list.
Yeah. It's insane. And you got to wake up at like 5 a.m. to get on the wait list even, so...
Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, so we're headed back to Batuu. We're going to talk about, the Disneyland and the Disney World versions, as far as I can tell, are exactly the same. So we're just going to talk about Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
And you can, in your own mind, decide which one we're talking about. But
yeah, so from what I've seen as well, I saw a video of, what's the Disney park in Orlando? Not Disney World. There's Disney, is it Hollywood? No.
Hollywood Studios, yeah.
Hollywood Studios, yeah. I know they have Rise of Resistance there, and it looks like it's the exact same. So I think it is just the exact same across all locations.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, everything was built one for one. Back in 2015 at the D23 Expo, which for people who don't know is the big expo that Disney always has. It's usually held in Anaheim. It's usually held at like the Honda Center, so it's a big event. That's where the Anaheim Ducks play. And this is usually where they announce, like the next big tentpole movie franchise or the next big, this is where they announced Villains Land, the most recent one. So this is where all the big stuff happens.
This is where they announced Toy Story 15 or whatever movie. We're on 5 now, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. They did announce Toy Story 5 there, which, I think we were done after 3. I don't think we needed 4, let alone 5.
I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to get sidetracked, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. So in the 2015 D23 Expo, Rise of the Resistance was announced. It was described as being placed in the middle of a climactic battle between the First Order and the Resistance. It was not until November 17th, 2018, at a Destination D event, which I'm not even sure what Destination D is. Maybe it's just a smaller version of D23. But the attraction was announced as being named Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. The construction posed unprecedented technical challenges because there are 65 audio animatronic figures in this ride. It is the largest concrete pour in the history of Disney parks, and there are 5 million lines of code that control the various aspects of the ride.
5 million is crazy.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, I'm a computer science major, and 5 million. 50 is already a lot for me. 5 million? That's...
Yeah. I'm curious what the next highest number of audio animatronics is, too. Like, it's got to be like Pirates of the Caribbean, maybe? Because that's got a ton of animatronics.
It's Pirates, or, no, not even. I was going to say Smuggler's Run, but that only has, like, 2.
Yeah, that's mostly just screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what the next highest one is and how it compares to 65.
I feel like it's either Pirates or Haunted Mansion. I feel like those are the next 2.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. So this was originally planned to open on opening day of Galaxy's Edge, which was August 29th, 2019, in Florida, and May 31st, 2019 in Anaheim. But on March 7th of 2019, hey, that's Dad's birthday. Dad's birthday. It was announced that Rise of the Resistance would not open alongside the lands, but would be part of Phase 2 of Galaxy's Edge. Phase 2, I think, consisted of Rise of the Resistance. I think that was Phase 2.
Phase 2 was Rise of the Resistance.
I think that was it. Yeah. But so on July 11th, 2019, they revealed that the rides would open December 5th of that year in Florida at Hollywood Studios, like you said, and January 17th, 2020 in Anaheim. A media event took place in Hollywood Studios on December 3rd through 4th of 2019, and guests attending were able to experience the attraction ahead of time. The official opening was, of course, the next day, and then Disneyland's version opened as scheduled on January 17th, 2020. The official description, which I noticed, unlike most rides, the mission or the description on both Disneyland and Disney World's websites are exactly the same. So it says, the Resistance needs your help. Hidden in the forest outside the Black Spire outpost, the Resistance is gathering recruits for a secret mission. With the First Order desperate to extinguish the spark of the Resistance, the mission is bound to have unexpected twists and turns. When your transport is captured by an imposing First Order Star Destroyer filled with legions of stormtroopers and even Kylo Ren, you're going to need all the help you can get. Fortunately, a covert team of Resistance fighters, including Rey and BB-8, is at the ready to give you a fighting chance to escape and a chance for the Resistance to rise. Prepare for a thrilling, first-of-its-kind adventure. Yeah, that seems pretty... I mean, they break down the whole story there.
Yeah. So, a pretty good summary of what's going to happen.
Yeah. Also, definitely first of its kind, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll get into the mechanics of it in a little bit, but so a little backstory within the Star Wars world. This will mean a lot more to you than me, probably, but Rise of the Resistance is set on a single repeating day in the in-universe year 34 ABY, set between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
Makes sense.
Okay. Following the Battle of Crate, the last vestiges of the Resistance have retreated to the planet Batuu, once a thriving trader's port on the edge of wild space, long since bypassed by hyperspace travel. There, the regrouping Resistance has set up a hastily constructed makeshift base in the wilderness outside of Black Spire Outpost, repurposing ancient tunnels once home to an unseen civilization. See, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, it's like even just like the backstory of the ride, they put so much into this.
Yeah, and like reading this, I'm like, okay, that all makes sense, but I didn't know that going on the ride. None of that is really portrayed. A defected stormtrooper and Resistance loyalist Finn has infiltrated the Finalizer, the First Order Star Destroyer belonging to Kylo Ren, and has learned that Ren is is aware of the Resistance's hideout on Batuu and plans to occupy the planet to ferret out the Resistance forces. With word of the encroaching threat shared back to the Batuuan Resistance faction, the Resistance has made the decision to evacuate the planet and meet on the mid-rim planet Pakara, where General Leia Organa plans to regroup and stage a final stand against the Resistance. I get some of that from the ride.
There's definitely some of that from the ride. I wouldn't say a lot of that kind of doesn't happen. I think it's kind of like a red herring almost.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is like, here's what is expected to happen, and it's not necessarily what happens on the ride.
Yeah, that's what's expected to happen.
All right, so the ride itself, of course, starting out with the queue, because the queue is in itself a whole part of the ride. Like, it's an experience.
These were the supposed like ancient tunnels.
Yeah, must be. Because when you first show up, you walk past a turret that leads into this cave system. You're lucky because the first time I went on this, you had to get like a boarding group, and so you could only board at certain times.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and we got put on standby.
Oh no!
I know. So we were like, it was the end of the night, and we were just like, well, I guess we're not going to get on. We've ridden everything else we wanted to ride. You guys ready to just go back home? And like literally as we're heading for the exit, my phone buzzes and I look at it and it's like, you've got a boarding group. It's boarding right now.
Oh my goodness.
So we turn around and we just book it straight back to Galaxy's Edge. I think we might have been like the last group to get in. And it just kept breaking down.
Oh no.
So we're sitting in these tunnels and they would like, come up on the loudspeaker and just be like, due to a delay, the ride is malfunctioning, whatever.
Oh my goodness.
But we were just like, we were leaving anyways, so we'll just wait, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like
we're nothing better to do, right?
Exactly. It's not like we're missing out on anything. We already rode everything else we wanted to, so we were just like, we'll just stay in line. And eventually we did finally get on it.
Awesome.
But that was wild.
Well, now
you walk past this turret and you kind of, do a couple of switchbacks before you finally get into this cave. And this just says deep within, which skips a lot.
Skips a lot, yeah.
But within these caves, there's a bunch of switchbacks and there's, different places where the cave gets like narrower and then wider. There's different, like there's a locker kind of looking area with a bunch of suits. All throughout, you can hear different chatter on the radio going on. There's different kinds of, some kind of, I don't know what this thing is, but I don't know if you remember it. It was like a screen that almost looked like a blueprint.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that.
I'm not sure what that is. It looks like some kind of map or sonar radar thing. I'm not sure exactly
something
what it is.
Something along those lines.
Something spacey.
Something space, something sci-fi, something dark side.
Exactly. And then finally you are led into this room and they say, all right, wait here. And then they wait until the room fills up with people. And then they open the doors and you walk into a room and you are met by a hologram of Rey, as well as BB-8. He was not a hologram. He's actually there.
They have an animatronic BB-8 and it's a Rey hologram.
Yes.
I guess they didn't have the budget for a Rey animatronic.
There's 65 other animatronics. I think they could get away with one hologram.
True. Fair enough.
But this is where she gives us our briefing. She tells us what's going on with the Resistance and says, we need your help. You are now officially Resistance recruits. And it's funny because there's like little screens all around her and the screens are of us.
Yeah, I think they have like cameras in the room or something that are like recording us, and the screens are showing us in the room.
Right. And so it's a little weird, but it's also it's cool because it's immersive.
It is a little freaky though.
Yeah. It's like, oh, they're filming me right now. Now I'm self-conscious. Is my hair okay? But so she does talk about this plan to depart from Batuu to get to this rendezvous point on Pakara. And so she says, go to the intersystem transport shuttle, and they'll take you, to Pakara. And so then you actually go back outside, which this, to my knowledge, this is the only ride where you like get your briefing and then you leave the ride and then get back on the ride.
Yeah, I'm thinking now, I don't think there was anything else. But yeah, you go back outside and they take you to the ship next, right?
Right. And you walk past is that a TIE fighter? I don't know my Star Wars ships.
Not a TIE fighter. I think it was an X-Wing.
Okay. Yeah, you actually see the ship once you get outside, and it's got big bay doors that open up, and you get on the ship, and Admiral Akbar is there.
Yep. And I didn't even know this part. Like, this is all part of the queue still. I'm thinking, oh, okay, this is the ride. We're going to be walking through. This is the ride now. No, this is still part of the queue.
Yeah. This ride has multiple different walkthrough areas, multiple different ride mechanics. It's the whole thing is just so immersive that you never really know when you're on the ride. It's pretty insane. Okay, so this is not Admiral Akbar. This is Lieutenant Beck.
I had a feeling it wasn't Akbar. I think Akbar is dead by the time this movie happens.
Oh, okay. And we also see the pilot Nian Nunby. Am I saying that right?
I have no idea. I don't know any of these characters.
Okay.
I don't know any of the characters from the ride.
Oh, that's the little guy. He had the helmet on.
Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce the name.
Yeah, it's Niennenb or Nunb. And then also Oscar Isaac. Who does he play? Is that Poe?
Oscar Isaac, I believe, is Poe Dameron.
Okay. Yeah, he's our escort. He's going to escort us to Pakara. And so everybody piles into this ship. You've got this animatronic Lieutenant Beck who keeps kind of, he'll spin around and talk to us and then spin back around and watch. And there's actually, if you turn around, there's stuff going on behind you too, which a lot of people don't even realize.
There's a whole bunch of screens and stuff everywhere.
Yeah, the whole thing is so incredibly, I'm going to use the word immersive a lot in this episode.
Understandable.
But, yeah, it really is. And there's screens, that act as windows that you look out, and eventually we start getting attacked. And we're under heavy fire. There's First Order TIE fighters shooting at us, and we try to jump to light speed, and we're stopped. And eventually we're caught in a tractor beam, and we're pulled into the Finalizer, which is a First Order ship. And this has got to be the funnest thing to act as a cast member, I think, because the doors open, and I think you pointed this out that it's the same doors you came in. Yeah,
I was gonna mention that. I wanted to mention that you go in through this door, and then there's a door on the other side. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, we're gonna come in through this door. The door on the other side is gonna open. That's gonna be no, it's the same door that you came in from. So that got me thinking, I couldn't even feel this thing moving. When did we move?
Yeah, it must have been like an elevator.
There was a subtle elevator because I couldn't even feel any movement or anything.
Yeah, I mean, you do feel kind of movement, but it feels like it's the ship, rocking back and forth or something. You don't feel like you're going up and down at any point.
Right. When you go into Haunted Mansion and you go into the extending room, you can feel this is an elevator. I'm going down on an elevator, but the illusion is that the room is getting taller.
Right. Yeah, this one, it's like you said, there is a door on the other side, so you think, oh, we're just going through, and then the actual ride warehouse is on the other side. But nope. The same doors you came in open, and there are the First Order officers who just berate you mercilessly.
I think that when we went on, the guy said, like, your first mission is part of the resistance, and then went over to, like, some little kid and said, and you failed!
Yeah. Like I said, this has got to be the funnest thing to act as a cast member, because you get to just berate people. And I've heard stories of people, like, who they'll know somebody that's, on the ride, and so they'll just go at them and just... And so other people are just like, man, they're like really mean to her.
I actually have a story about that. The creator of Phineas and Ferb, Dan Povenmire. So you're actually not allowed to break character as an Imperial soldier.
Right, you're not allowed to break character as a cast member, period.
Yeah, you have to stay in character the entire time. But he was on Rise of the Resistance, and the doors opened, and the Imperial Order soldier came in and looked at him and said, it's so unexpected that you would get caught. And by unexpected, of course, I mean completely expected, which is a quote from Phineas and Ferb.
Oh. So he recognized him?
Yeah, and I figured since we're talking about that, I thought I'd share that story because I thought it was funny.
That is pretty funny. So the officer tells you, head out this way, follow my fellow officers. You are now under the whatever. You're captured.
You're being captured by the First Order.
Right. And so you exit the ship, and this is kind of the scene that everybody has seen. I don't think it's the most impressive, but it is very impressive. You exit the ship, and there is just a army of stormtroopers. I don't think they're animatronic. I think they're all just kind of statues. But
I think they're all stationary, but it's this giant room with a bunch of stormtroopers stood by in it. And there's a big, like, screen that looks like the wormhole that you just came in from. Or not wormhole. The gate where you just came in from, and it's looking out into space. And I remember looking at this and thinking, how is this real life?
Yeah, it's so impressive that, like you said, the room is just huge, the ceiling is so high, and this screen is just massive. And, like, you can look around and there's just every single spot, every single point in this room is themed. And there's all these different officers around, and so you go through this hallway, and the whole thing is like walking through a ship. It's, like I said, everything top to bottom, floor to ceiling is absolutely themed perfectly. And you go down a long hallway, and then once you get to the end, there's another officer who, asks how many in your party.
Yeah, and can I interject here for a second?
Absolutely, yeah, go ahead.
It was very, very funny when we were on this for the first time. So there's only 4 people allowed in, like, each ride car, and they kept asking how many people are in your group. It went down like 4 groups, including ours, which had 3 in it. So she kept asking, how many people are in your group? 3. 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 And I watched her, like, put her hand on her head and sigh in exasperation. And I felt so bad because you're not allowed to break character.
Right. This one time we went with 2 of our friends, and we came a day early. And so we rode it then. And then the next day, when our friends made up with us, we were in line, and the cast member was like, is there a group of 2? And I was like, yeah, right here. Kind of forgetting that we had 4 now.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, wait, no, never mind.
No.
Yeah. Anyway, it was fine.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so then you're led to, the cast member, the officer says, this group, go stand on the blue dot. This group, go stand on the red dot. You guys go stand on the orange dot. All of this, remember, we're still not on the ring.
Right.
We are then led to a small room where we see a hologram of, I don't know who this guy is. Not Kylo Ren, but the other guy.
I don't know their name either.
Okay. But he basically comes in and says, you are now our prisoners. You will tell us what the Resistance is planning, etc., etc. And Kylo Ren comes in. Oh, it's General Hux.
Oh, Hux, right. That's what the guy's name is.
Kylo Ren comes in, tries to use the Force, but we're too strong for him, I guess. And he gets called away before he can complete the process. So he says, "Oh, I'll be back to finish this myself." And he kind of storms off. And then there's just this like awkward moment where you're sitting there going, "Is it broken?
Is that it?
Yeah, like is it over?" And you start hearing like people. It sounds like people in the vents. And that's really when I was kind of like, "Oh no, the ride's broken. That's people coming to fix the ride." But what you're actually hearing is Resistance fighters coming to save you. And they use a torch, and this is a really cool effect. They use a torch to cut through the wall. Because when you're looking around, there's no walls and there are no windows and no doors like the Haunted Mansion. But all of a sudden there's just like a light that goes around a door to make it look like a laser or a torch cutting open a door. And this thing swings open. And here's these Resistance fighters who are like, "We're here to save you. Come with me if you want to live."
Yep.
That's Terminator, not Star Wars, but
it still applies here.
It does, yeah. And so they say, "All right, get in this R5 droid unit."
Yeah, it's a little R5 with like a cart.
Yeah. And they say, "This will take you to the escape pod." And so you get in, and what's cool is that this ride is completely trackless. And so it's not like you can look down at the floor. I mean, you kind of can, but it's not like there's a rail that like, "Oh, well, I know which way we're going to go now."
Right.
You could go sideways. You can go forwards, backwards. You can spin around in circles. It's so cool.
It's awesome.
So we hear Lieutenant Beck over the PTU's radio. He's trying to negotiate with other PTU robots. It's not, I mean, none of this is super important to the story, but basically there's just this chatter going on at all times.
Right.
And so you get in this droid, you're off and running. You get a little safety video from Jonathan Boyega's character.
Finn,
thank you.
Yep.
And so at first you're just kind of like, "All right, we're getting out of here. We're going to be safe. Everything's going to be hunky-dory." But of course, everything is not hunky-dory because there's a security droid or some kind of like floating security thing. And so you have to like probe droid, they call it. And so you got to quickly change direction.
Shaft,
What's that?
I believe it's like it floats through the elevator shaft.
Yeah.
And it sees us, and we're like, "Well, we gotta go a different way now."
Yeah. And so we head off to the right, and we try to go around another corner, and then now there's these stormtroopers.
Yep.
And they start shooting at us, but luckily stormtroopers can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn. So
Exactly. Luckily, stormtroopers have stormtrooper aim.
Right. So at least they don't get us, but now our cover is blown. Now They know we're here. And so we got to go backwards, and we go around a corner. And this is the part that just made my jaw drop. You enter a room with two, when I say giant, I feel like that doesn't do it justice.
Oh no, absolutely not.
But I mean just absolutely massive AT-ATs.
It was like, in terms of the scale, like we talk about the scale and the immersiveness of the entire ride. This is the part that I feel like everyone should be talking about and not the Star Destroyer part.
Yeah, I agree. The room itself is just so incredibly tall. I mean, us in our little droid is almost as big as one of the feet of these AT-ATs.
And even then, we're probably still smaller than one of the feet.
Right. Just to try and give you an idea of the scale of these things. And so it's not that this part of the ride is particularly like exciting or entertaining, but it's just so massive that it's just awe-inspiring. And so we go under these AT-ATs, and all of a sudden, now we're under heavy fire. So we have to like take cover real quick. We hide in a little cove area. You can see an animatronic of Finn hiding off in another area. He's like trying to, give you cover. He says, get in the elevator and go down. We get in the elevator and go up.
Because the droids that we're in are not the smartest.
Yeah. And like Finn even says, "Don't." I said down. The up is bad. Up is real bad.
It takes you up to look where you're like parallel with the cockpit of the AT-AT, and there's two stormtroopers inside of it, and one of them taps the other one and points at us, and all of a sudden the cannons come up about to fire at us.
Yeah. And so we have no choice but to go backwards. We're now upstairs. We start heading through. Like at this point, everything is dark now. There's just like red alert lights everywhere. There's holes in the walls from the blasters that are still like smoldering. Then we see Kylo Ren and General Hux sitting in, I guess, the cockpit of the ship. Again, just massive screens all the way around, showing outside the space, showing what they're looking at. They're having a conversation. And Kylo Ren is being told that we have escaped. Meanwhile, the whole ship is under fire. But Kylo Ren turns around and he sees us. And so, of course, now we got to bail again. Another thing that's cool that we didn't mention is that there are two droids going at the same time. So every once in a while, you'll like go past the other one. You're just like, oh, hey, there's those guys.
Hey, they're escaping too.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then, there's music from John Williams starts playing throughout the whole thing. We see Kylo Ren, like he's got his lightsaber out now, and he starts walking towards us, but luckily the door is closed because now we're in another elevator. We see, this part's really cool. We see Kylo Ren's lightsaber come through the ceiling and starts to cut a hole in the ceiling. But luckily the door is open. We're able to escape before he's able to get in. Thankfully. This is another really great part. I don't remember if these were working when we went. Do you remember, were the cannons working?
Yeah, the cannons were working.
Okay, for a long time the cannons were not working.
No, I remember the cannons.
And so it was just kind of like B mode where the cannons were there and would make noise, but didn't actually move.
No, the cannons were working.
Yeah, so there's these big giant cannons that like move forward and backwards as they're blasting. Again, blasting out these windows that are just screens to look out into space. So cool, so immersive. And it's like we have to like wait because, like I said, they're jumping out forward in front of us into our path, and so you have to like kind of go and stop and go. And yeah, you can look out into space and see they're blasting all these other ships. There's just this massive war going on right outside. Ships are blowing up.
Just absolutely like every tiny detail in this ride had so much thought put into it.
Yeah, I mean, 5 million lines of code. And it's all on screen, as they say. So we come around a corner and we run right into Kylo Ren. And this is when both ships are there and he's using the Force to grab us. And so since this is a trackless ride, it's really cool that you can like feel the droid kind of like fighting back. And so it's rocking back and forth, but you're also getting pulled in. And so it's just this really cool way of making you feel like you're in a tug of war that would never happen on like a roller coaster,
No, absolutely not.
But eventually the wall behind Kylo Ren gets blown out, which obviously distracts him. He's all like, whoa!
Exactly like that.
That's the noise he makes. It's very comical for the moment, but and then part of the ceiling comes down, which is insane. Like it's literally just a panel of the ceiling falls,
drops down and like blocks him, so he can't force grab us anymore.
Yeah, but it's like they didn't need to do that, but it's such a cool detail.
It just again, like the immersion and every like little thing in this ride, so much thought put into it.
Yeah. So we take off and we get into a little escape pod. I'm guessing this is what this is. And again, we're just looking out into space. We're watching it, all these different ships blasting at each other. And this was the part
that scared me the first time we were there because I didn't expect it.
Yeah, this is the part that gets everybody the first time because you get into this escape pod and you're just kind of like watching what's going on outside, and you're like, okay, at some point we're going to go backwards again or something. But what happens is the ride drops.
It drops. And I had no idea this was going to happen. I was not ready.
Yeah, and it sets you up because it's, it moves around when you're looking through the screen. And so it's like you're rocking back and forth and stuff. And so you don't really think that you're going to drop. And then, the ride just drops straight down like Guardians of the Galaxy or something.
It's not as big a drop as Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, it's definitely not that drastic. But it's unexpected, and it's very fun.
Very.
And then you just kind of like fly through until you get, you actually crash. You miss the landing spot, and you crash. But then you come around a corner, and there in another escape pod is Beck, who tells you, congratulations, you did it. You saved the day, or at least survived.
We survived.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really save the day.
We didn't really do much. We managed to get out of there.
Yeah. And then you're off on your merry way. And apparently there's a hidden Mickey right at the exit. I don't recall seeing it, but
no, you would have pointed it out if you'd seen it.
Oh yeah.
I know you would have absolutely pointed it out if you'd seen it.
Yeah. So this ride is 18 minutes long.
18 it did not feel like 18 minutes when you were
No, it does not. I don't know what the next longest ride is, but 18 minutes is insane.
It does not feel like 18 minutes when you're in there. Like, it goes by so quickly because of how much adrenaline is pumping.
Yeah. It looks like the next longest one, not counting the railroad or the Mark Twain riverboat, is actually, it's a small world.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that feels like forever.
Because of the song playing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah. Small World and Pirates are both 15 minutes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Finding Nemo is 13 to 14 minutes of just pure hell.
I did not want to go on that one.
No, you wouldn't fit in that one.
I did not even, like, I don't even want to talk about I wouldn't fit. I am terrified of being underwater in a submarine. That would not be a fun ride for me.
I mean, I've said this on the show before, but I feel like they did some kind of like scientific test to figure out, okay, how long can someone be trapped in a small enclosure underwater before they completely flip out and lose their minds and kill everyone? Okay, make it 30 seconds shorter than that. Because by the time that ride ends, I'm like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no, I could never be on that ride.
Yeah, it's definitely a skip for me.
That's a pass.
So, as we said, this is unique in the way that it has multiple pre-shows, which is what they call the whole queue area, and multiple ride systems, including turntable stages, motion simulators, and LPS-powered trackless dark ride, and a drop tower. So,
it's like 15 rides in one.
Yeah, it really is. And they do a good job of making you not care that you're in the queue. It's like, yeah, I'm in line for a ride, but it's like, I'm experiencing something.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is something that I think more rides just in general should do.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's becoming more of a thing. I mean, you've got you didn't get to ride Indiana Jones, but, Indiana Jones has like hieroglyphics and things to look at.
He was very salty about that one when we were there, about that being closed.
I love that ride. You got to go back so you can ride it because.
Oh yeah, definitely, and I got to go back so I can eat that Monte Cristo again.
You got to go to Blue Bayou and get it now.
Mom has said that she wants me to get some Dole Whip from there, freeze it, and bring it back home to her.
I don't know if that would work.
No, it wouldn't, but she wants me to try.
Better idea, she comes with you.
She comes with us.
Yeah. We all go. Apparently there's a puppet BB-8 attached to a robotic arm in the briefing room
What?
scene.
Is that what the animatronic BB-8 is?
Well, it says BB-8 can be seen rolling on a rock wall. Yeah. He is actually a puppet attached to a robotic arm with a rotating spherical shell.
Huh. I thought that was just a full-on animatronic.
So did I. That's really interesting.
That is interesting.
Rey is accomplished with an OLED display behind a one-way mirror.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Guests enter and exit through the same door, but exit onto the Star Destroyer. The transport is a motion simulator of a turntable, so it spins.
Oh, it spins.
Wow, okay. Yeah, while the simulator is in motion, it is rotated so that guests will exit into the Star Destroyer set with moving flaps for safety once the simulator has stopped.
Interesting.
So it's not an elevator. It doesn't
It's
go
not
down.
an
It actually
elevator,
just
it's a-
turns.
That's why the movement was so subtle. Because
Yeah,
it just turns.
And it felt like part of the ship because, as you know, the ship is moving back and forth. So yeah, it just. I wonder how much it turns. If it's like 90 degrees, 45 degrees.
I want to say it's like 180 because, again, there's a door on the other side. Oh my god,
Yeah.
the door on the other side is probably so that
It never turns back.
it never turns back.
Oh, that's so smart.
So it just turns, and then they just leave it there, and then that door opens again. That's why there's a door on both sides.
Yep. Oh, man. These Imagineers, they're smart cookies. The images of General Hux and Kylo Ren during the interrogation are a Musion effect, which is not a term I'm familiar with.
What is a Musion?
Let's see. Oh, it's a Pepper's Ghost. Do you know what a Pepper's Ghost is?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just done with, like, mirrors, basically. Mirrors and projection.
Makes sense. Okay.
However, additional projectors are used to create shadows as though the actors were physically present. Definitely didn't feel like they were physically present. Definitely felt like a hologram. But let's see. Before the riders board their vehicles, LED strips hidden in the wall, semi-transparent paint, and strobe lights are used to simulate the metal being cut. Which is kind of what I figured. But semi-transparent paint, that's interesting.
Interesting.
Riders board a ride vehicle that utilizes wireless charging.
Interesting.
As well as radio frequency identification pucks in the floor to give the vehicle position data and allow it to navigate the attraction without a track.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was always kind of curious how those trackless ones work. Did we ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
That was the other one that I was going to mention. The queue being like part of the ride.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Although that one is more of like, it's kind of a gut punch when you think you're getting on the ride and then you all of a sudden you're back in line. Let's see. The blasters throughout the ride use a persistence of vision effect, which I'm not sure what that is either. An optical illusion that occurs when the visual perception of an object does not cease for some time after the rays of light proceeding from it have ceased to enter the eye. Did that make sense to you?
No.
It looks like the example they're using is like when you take a sparkler and kind of move it around and you can see the light trail.
Oh, okay.
Apparently that. And then there's an array of LEDs to give the illusion the beams are traveling through air. Projectors and flipping panels are used to simulate damage. Oh, that's how the damage... Okay.
Oh.
So there's the full panels just flip around. Man. The room with the AT-ATs only contains 2, but the use of a mirror makes it look like there are 4.
Yeah, that's also kind of what I figured. I didn't think that there were actually 4 in there.
Yeah, I only thought there were 2. So.
I only thought there were 2 as well.
When the vehicles stop on the lifts, flaps come up to prevent the vehicles from rolling off. When Kylo Ren appears for the second time, he is a projection on a moving screen. That's when he first has the lightsaber. In the elevator scene, which is actually a static room with lights to give the illusion the riders are in a moving elevator. What?
Wait, what?
The room does not move. Just
What?
It just has lights to give the illusion the riders are in a moving elevator.
That's not an elevator?
Apparently not.
What? That's wild.
And the blade of Kylo Ren's lightsaber is a rapidly spinning light panel, which moves on a semicircular track to give the illusion it is cutting through the roof.
That, I believe, is actually similar technology to what they had in the original Star Wars movie.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So, makes sense that they would just reuse that because they already had it.
Yeah. The cannons are situated in front of a large screen, obviously. Each cannon has its own system to ensure it does not hit the vehicles. Blasts from their resistance cause damage to the walls, which are actually panels that move away to show internal parts. That's cool. During the scene where the wall breaks behind Kylo Ren, panels move away to simulate breaking, complete with a wind effect. Oh, we didn't even mention the wind effect.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah, when the wall gets blasted out behind Kylo Ren, there's just a wind effect to make you feel like you're getting sucked out.
We didn't even mention that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they thought of everything. They really did.
They really did.
The escape pods are a motion simulator on a drop shaft in front of a large projection screen. Each pod also has a locking mechanism to prevent the vehicles from sliding.
My dog is going crazy. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So, do you know the term e-pass or e-ticket?
I do not.
So, back when Disneyland first opened, the rides were all like ranked A, B, C, D, E.
Right.
And so you would have to get a physical ticket. You would get a ticket book for each ride. And the big rides, the roller coasters and the most popular ones were the e-tickets.
Right.
And so even though
like a virtual ticket?
No, it's funny that now you think of e-ticket as something, like a ticket on your phone or something.
Right.
But no, an e-ticket ride is basically just like the big rides, the Space Mountains, and they were the most popular, and so they would be ranked, from ABC to E, E being the most popular. Those would be the e-ticket rides.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so it's a term they still use, even though they don't use those physical tickets anymore. But apparently Rise of the Resistance is known as a Ultra E-ticket.
Wow.
Or a U-ticket.
A U-ticket.
Yeah, like I said, when this first opened, you had to get a boarding pass, like a boarding group, to get on. And if you didn't get that boarding group, you got put in standby. And if you didn't get standby, you just didn't get to ride it.
Okay, then.
They have gotten rid of that. It is now a Lightning Lane single pass, which means that if you buy the Lightning Lane, that does nothing for you on this.
Yeah, no,
you have to buy an extra Lightning Lane.
Yep.
Which we
did.
No, we did?
We did.
Okay.
The first time we did, the second time we went on it, we waited.
That's right. Yeah, because I was like, we had to make sure you got on it at least once.
Yeah, and the second time we went on it was when I had just been soaked after Splash Mountain, so we didn't mind that. We didn't mind waiting in line.
Yeah. So yeah, when you got these boarding groups, basically you had an hour after your time was called, and if you missed that hour, again, you were screwed. You didn't get to ride it that day.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's how popular this ride was. I mean, I don't have the Disneyland app on my phone. I was like, let's just check what the
queue is.
What the wait time is right now.
I still have it installed, actually. Let me go check.
Do you? Yeah, pull it up. Let's see what it is. So it's 2:30 California time, PM.
Before I pull it up, what's your guess?
I'm gonna say 80 minutes.
I'm gonna guess 120.
Okay, it's gonna be right in the middle.
You're closer, actually. That's not nearly as much as I've seen. It's currently 65 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's not terrible.
No, most of the time when I was checking when we were there, it was like 120. That's why I figured that's a safe guess.
Yeah. And yeah, I did get a chance to ride this at in Disney World, and like I said, it's the exact same ride. So
yeah,
even the queue is pretty much exactly the same. The whole tunnel system and everything it might weave in different directions or something, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Right.
In 2021, the boarding group virtual queue system was paused, and for the first time, you could walk up and wait in line. That led to very high demand and queue lines running through a large part of the park. And then Disneyland followed suit in November. And I mean, still to this day, you're looking at least 65 minutes.
Right. It is a long wait to get on this ride.
Yeah, but it's really worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What was your favorite part?
Oh, the room with the AT-ATs for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt that was my favorite part.
Yeah, like I said, that's the part to me that's just, even though I'm not a Star Wars fan, but just going into that room and I'm just like, holy shit.
My jaw was on the floor. Like,
yeah, like it's just such a feat of engineering to have that room just be that big, and it's almost overwhelming because you're just like, where do I look? And then, oh, the ride's still going. Like,
yeah, the ride is still going as you're in this room. Like, you don't stop. So you can't even really take in the sights.
Right. And you're like looking up, and then all of a sudden you'll just like jerk another direction. You're like, oh, right.
Yep.
But yeah, a bunch of actors from the movies reprised their role. Daisy Ridley as Rey, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, Adam Driver, Domhnall Gleeson, Kipsang Rotich, that's Rey, Poe, Finn, Kylo Ren, General Hux, and Nian Nunba.
Whoever that is,
yeah. James Arnold Taylor was the voice of Lieutenant Beck, which is an original character for this ride.
James Arnold Taylor is also the voice of Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
So he's got experience with this franchise before.
Yeah, makes sense why they would bring him in. And the CGI sequences for the ride are all done by Industrial Light and Magic, which is, the company that does the movies. And like I said, John Williams does all the music. He, of course, does all the music for the movies, as well as like Indiana Jones. And, the guy's he's an icon of music. Okay. I mean, I think that's about it. You got anything else you want to mention?
Go ride Rise of the Resistance. It's an awesome ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I know I'm being a dead horse here, but the immersion factor is just off the charts, from the sets to the story to the actors. Like, every part of it is just you forget that you're. I think it was raining when we were on it.
I don't think it was raining. It didn't rain when we were there.
Okay.
But it was cloudy.
Maybe that was another time I went on it, because I feel like one time I went on it and it was raining, and it was like by the time you get off the ride, you're like, oh, right, it's raining.
Right, yeah.
Like, you forget you're in California or Florida or wherever it is you are.
Wherever.
Yeah, and it's like for those 13 to 18 minutes, like, you are in Batuu. You are on this Star Destroyer. You are part of this story.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. And it's, it was referred to as a, where was that? Basically like a technical masterpiece.
Yes.
And even that seems like underselling it. It does break down a lot.
Unfortunately, it does.
But I mean, when you have that much going on, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You do have to be 40 inches tall to ride it.
Oh, no.
What happened?
Having to be 40 inches tall to ride.
Oh. Yeah, you were 40 inches tall when you were, what, like 7?
Yeah.
You were probably taller than that at 7, actually. Because 40 inches, that's not even 4 feet. Yeah, and I mean, just the immersion of Batuu itself is incredibly impressive. And then this just like takes it to another level.
Indeed.
I don't know why this, more so than Smuggler's Run, just feels so immersive. I think it's because you do move around so much, and you go from, set to set to set.
Right.
And you do have these actors too who are just so good.
Definitely.
And like
the
you said,
actors are like, they do such an amazing job with this ride.
yeah, and like you said, they do such a great job of never breaking character. If you were put in charge of being the first one when the doors open, what would be your like big line?
I would just steal the same line from that other guy. I think that was the perfect thing.
The Phineas and Ferb one?
No, the your first mission as members of the Resistance, and you failed.
I mean, yeah, that pretty much says it all. Man, I could gush about this ride for so long, but I would just start repeating myself. But really,
we'd be here all day. We'd be here all day.
It's like you see, Small World's 15 minutes, Pirates of the Caribbean is 15 minutes, and you're like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. You hear this is 18 minutes, and you're like, really? Granted, that does include all the pre-show stuff.
True.
But still, the ride itself, see if I can find the moment you actually get on the ride and see. Let's see. So it looks like the ride itself is about 4.5 minutes.
Oh, well, okay. That makes more sense now.
From the time you get onto the droid to the finish.
That makes more sense now.
Yeah, but so that means there's about 14 minutes
of
where
queue.
You're just of like, yeah, that of queue, but not counting the tunnel stuff.
Right.
Like just counting the, going through the part with Rey, and then getting onto the ship, and that whole part, which is just like you said, you think that's the ride the first time.
Nope.
You're like,
nope.
Oh, this is pretty cool. Like this is,
really
I feel
cool.
like I'm on a ship, but then the doors open and there's the stormtroopers, and it just keeps going, and it just keeps getting better. And I can't wait to ride it again.
I can't wait to ride it again as well.
You gotta drag your mom and dad to a Disney park, I think.
For sure.
And, I think this shows that, you're a big Star Wars fan. I'm not a big Star Wars fan. And we're both just gushing the same way about the ride. So it's not like you have to go and watch all the Star Wars movies to get the story or anything.
No, definitely not. You can go on this with zero prior experience and just general knowledge of sci-fi, and you'll still enjoy it.
Yeah. You might miss little things.
Yeah.
But nothing to the point that's going to be like, yeah, it's not going to hamper your experience in any way.
No, absolutely.
The ride itself is just so good that it's worth it to ride it, even if you have never seen a Star Wars in your life.
Agreed.
Okay, do you have any final thoughts on either Rise of the Resistance or Batuu or anything else?
Final thoughts. Amazing ride. Definitely my favorite part of Disneyland. If you ever get the chance to check it out, definitely go do that.
You got the blue milk, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because I saw the green milk has been discontinued.
Oh, interesting. I did get both of them when we were there.
Oh, you did get both? Okay.
Yes.
You liked the blue better?
I'd like the blue better.
Okay. I think they replaced the green with a pink or something?
What? Okay, that's strange.
Is there no pink milk in the...
I don't recall any.
Let's see. Green milk is being discontinued with pink milk replacing it.
Interesting.
It's strawberry banana.
Oh, that sounds delicious, actually.
I love a good strawberry banana flavor shake.
I do love me some strawberry banana.
But yeah, I don't know why. Maybe just the green milk was not as popular. I don't know.
I guess it wasn't selling as much.
Interesting.
They're gonna have to replace all of the
all the signage and everything.
All the signage, and all the tubes and everything, because those have green in them.
Oh yeah. Well, all right. Hopefully the pink milk sells better, I guess.
Hopefully.
Wonder if you can get it with a shot of booze. I mean, I know you can with the blue milk.
That is true.
Which you did not.
I did not do that. I wanted to save my drink for something else.
For the cantina. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, maybe that's your next episode.
Maybe that's what's next.
Is the cantina.
The cantina.
I will say the cantina was missing the band.
True.
They had the DJ, but
you got to have the band. Otherwise, it's not really the cantina.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk about the cantina more next time. Any last words? Anything you want to tell people to go check out or anything like that?
I think I've said pretty much everything I want to say.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for being on. Thank you for being my Star Wars guy.
Of course. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon.
I will talk to you soon. Take care.
Your attention, please. This episode of Wild Mouse has concluded. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast player, and follow us on social media at Wild Mouse Podcast. Don't forget to visit the gift shop at wildmousepodcast.com. For exclusive bonus content, become a premium pass holder at patreon.com/wildmousepodcast. We hope you enjoyed your time and will visit us again soon. Thank you and good night.